everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie, and this channel is chronicling my journey of living my best life with multiple chronic illnesses. Today I wanted to talk about another set of chronic illnesses, and those are mental illnesses. A lot of people probably wouldn't consider them in the chronic illness category, but they most definitely are chronic and they are illnesses. So I'm going to talk about them. I've always been rather open about my mental health struggles simply because I don't really differentiate mental health from physical health. It's all one body. They're interconnected. You can't really separate the two of them into distinct categories like people like to do. One definitely affects the other. So that's just my belief when it comes to mental and physical health. I believe they're basically one thing, just different aspects. Anyway, so I've struggled with my mental health since I was very, very young. I probably started seeing a therapist when I was 3, 4, 5, like before I could even remember really. I was probably in therapy. I had a very traumatic childhood. There were custody battles, there was abuse, it was just a lot of trauma. I had anger issues when I was really young. I was always slamming doors and telling my guardians, who was at the time my grandparents and my great aunt, that I hated them. Just a lot of anger issues. And then as I got older, I turned the anger on myself and had some self-destructive behaviors. When I was in high school, I had anorexia and was hospitalized before going into undergrad. Then continued with other self-injurious behaviors, which I'm not going to talk about, not because I'm ashamed or anything, just because I guess I just don't know who's watching this, and I don't want it to get to the wrong people at this point in time. I can talk about the self-injury later. But yeah, that was a thing. Up until fairly recently, to be completely honest. What else? So I also have PTSD from the trauma. So there are certain things that I avoid. I don't get triggered in the sense I think a lot of people think about when they think of PTSD triggers. A lot of times if I'm triggered, like, no one will know, but internally I'm definitely having memories, flashbacks, body sensations. So that's more how the PTSD manifests for me, and just a lot of self-hatred thoughts. I'm very hard on myself, very perfectionistic. There was a lot of emphasis placed on being smart growing up. So if I got an A-, I was told that wasn't good enough. If I got a B, even teachers would sort of mock me. So that was difficult. And even now when I make mistakes, be it at work or just I bump into someone, I always get this like internal stress reaction of like, oh no, someone's going to hurt me. And that can be challenging just to calm myself down at times. And again, if you were looking at me, you would never know what's going on inside. I definitely learned to keep sort of a flat affect. I've been told that I'm basically impossible to read. People never know what I'm thinking or feeling because I don't really change my facial expressions unless I do it on purpose. I don't know if you guys have noticed that in my videos, that I'm just sort of blank. I do try to emote as much as possible, but it's just not natural for me. And then I do have depression. I've been treated with antidepressants since I was 14. The one I'm on right now is Vibrid, and it is working for me. I've tried multiple antidepressants. And of course, if you feel like you need help with your mental health, please see a professional. I'm not a professional. I'm just another person with mental health struggles. So what works for me definitely will not work for you. I did get a genetic test done to see what antidepressants would work better for me, and found that a lot of the ones I had tried, I just don't metabolize very well, or I metabolize them too quickly, so that's why they were not working. But mental health is definitely something I've struggled with, like I said, for most of my life. And I do know my triggers for the PTSD and even the depression, which a lot of times is triggered by the PTSD. It's hard to really separate them because during certain anniversaries and whatnot, I will go into a severe depression very, very quickly. One day I will be completely like baseline fine, and then the next day I want to unalive myself. It's that quick sometimes. So it's just sort of knowing what can trigger me and what can set off that negative thought spiral that can send me into just not a good mental spot. And I've definitely gotten better. I can read like a lot of abuse type books. Not that I like seek them out, but I'll be reading fiction books or fiction books, and they will have an abuse subplot. Like I was reading a book about a pandemic, a fiction book about a pandemic and it ended up having an abuse subplot. And it didn't trigger me. I normally read before bed, and when I was reading it, I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna have nightmares, but I didn't. So I've definitely come a long way in terms of the PTSD and what triggers me. But I definitely still deal with what most would consider minor things that can really set me off. Like at work, when I get feedback or like constructive criticism, I definitely get a stress response, and it's just years of abuse when I did something wrong or I wasn't perfect enough. I still have that reaction. So that's still a work in progress, and hopefully, as odd as it is to say, as I make more mistakes and get constructive feedback and nothing horrible happens to me, I will learn that it is okay to not be perfect. So that is definitely a work in progress. And the depression is definitely a work in progress that ebbs and flows throughout the year. I sort of know what times of year are harder, so I try to make sure I am doing things for my mental health, like trying to get to the gym, or when I'm able, I have a psych NP that I see. She's on maternity leave right now, so I'm not seeing anyone, but I'm doing okay. So definitely that is an area of my life I need to pay attention to, because it can spiral rather quickly if I'm not paying attention to it. So I hope this helps someone out there feel less alone with their mental health struggles. It's nothing to be ashamed about. Everyone struggles with something. Mental health is health. It's nothing to be ashamed of or thought less of. I'll probably make another video next Saturday about the whole biopsychosocial model. I know there's a lot of very strong feelings on both sides, and I'll just add my 2 cents to the mix, but that will definitely be another video because this one is quite long enough. But I hope you guys are having a good day whenever it is you are seeing this, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye, guys.